Well, I'd like to welcome everyone all to another episode of Mind of Ivory podcast. And today we have a very special guest who goes by Dionne, and that's Dionne by Dancerfit. Is that correct?
That's correct. Dancerfit by
Yep.
Dionne.
Dancerfit by Dionne. There we go. There we go. And before we get into everything, I just want to say that it's definitely an honor and a privilege to be interviewing you. We collaborated off of TikTok, because I'm always looking for people that's inspirational and they just empower other people by whatever it is their creativity or their talents are. And you're somebody that definitely exudes that. Those that are around you, you make sure you uplift them. You post stuff that's, positive about them. And I feel like we need that in our community, no matter your race, your creed. We need people who's going to stand up for what's right and and they do things that's going to be conducive to a better lifestyle. We have a lot of forces that work against us. And I just want to say, I just thank you so much for, wanting to be interviewed. And it means a lot to me.
Elijah, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. And thank you for inviting me to be on your show. I'm honored to be here today as well.
All right. Thank you so much. So, just to get started, I want to know, so how's your day been so far?
So my day is really good. I'm blessed. I can't complain. I'm just so happy to be here.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good. I know right now, if you're in the DMV area, it's kind of hazy. I just went outside, so it's good that the sun is trying to peek out. We need that.
That's good because I can't wait to get my walk. As soon as I'm done with this interview, I definitely need to get out and get some fresh air.
Okay, exactly. I definitely understand that. And speaking of walking, so where are you from, and how was it growing up there?
Yes, so I'm a native Washingtonian, which is really rare these days. I'm not a transplant. So I grew up on 14th Street in Northwest DC. And so people that are from DC would know exactly what that is, the 1-4 zone. And so folks from DC would call me growing up. They were like uptown. So you're from uptown. So I will say that the city has really changed from when I was growing up. When I was growing up, DC was Chocolate City, right? Now it's like Mocha City. But growing up in DC, I had like really, really great times. I feel like growing up in DC, I had the best of both worlds. DC, especially if you're from here and if you're a quick study, if you come here, DC is really all about politics, right? So if you're here, you have to really learn how to navigate. And so I learned at a really early age how to navigate in DC. My parents were really active in the community. They were community activists. So they really taught me how to use my voice. And they taught me early on because I saw them how to advocate for myself. So that's pretty much really how it was for me in DC, just really being able to navigate, going to DC public schools, like DC born and raised. And I could not imagine myself really being anywhere else other than DC.
Okay, hey, well, I've definitely been around DC, and I understand, the history is more than just, the monuments and all the different, buildings we see, out there. There's a rich culture and a rich history if people are willing to do the research. And also too, that mumbo sauce is good.
Oh, wait, but see that mumbo sauce, it is not just about the mumbo sauce either, but the best mumbo sauce in DC. I told you guys that I'm from the 1-4 zone. You gotta go to Smokies. Smokies on 14th Street is literally right by the bus barn. They have the best, I mean, the best mumbo sauce and fried chicken wings and potato wedges in the world.
Hey, so anybody that's gonna listen to this playback, you can rewind this as many times you want, so that way when you're driving through, you know where you're going.
Yes, mumbo sauce Smokies. Shout out to Smokies.
Exactly. Now, I know you have a lot of energy and you put a lot of passion behind what you do. So, with that being said, like what activities like did you do as far as when you was growing up, or that you just had a lot of fun being like incorporating in your everyday life?
Okay, so it was dance, it was cheerleading, track, basketball, and then also I played the flute. I typically don't talk a lot about that, but I was also in the marching band too. So at 2 years old, I started singing. And there was basically this Love's commercial that used to come on TV. And it's this infamous commercial, right? And my mom and my dad, they were listening to the TV at one point, and they ended up turning the TV down, and they heard me singing to the song. And when I was singing to the song, I was literally singing on perfect pitch. And so that's when my parents discovered that I knew how to sing. So they put me in singing lessons at a very early age. And then at 5 years old, my mom put me in dance. So I learned ballet at 5 years old. And then at 11, my mom and dad put me in the Washington Performing Arts Society. So I actually had to audition to be a general member. And that's where I basically learned performance and basically how to um, be very productive as far as like stage presence, right? And so I performed very early at 11 on a big stage with like big name artists like Stephanie Mills and Yolanda Adams and Richard Smallwood, right? And then at 11, my mom actually put me in dance. I started at 5, like in dance, but then at 11, that's really when I perfected like the training. And so I was trained in ballet, and I was trained in modern and liturgical dance and African styles of dancing, and also contemporary. So like at 18, I had been training for, I would say, about a good 7, 8 years. And I remember at 18, this was my last dance recital. And I remember everybody coming up to me after the dance recital and asking, "Are you a professional dancer?" And I'm just like, "Well, no, I'm not a professional dancer. I mean, I'm still in high school. I'm like in my last year in college, but with all of that training, they could really basically see the skill, and they could see the art form. So I really perfected my craft. I also was a cheerleader. So I cheered in elementary school, middle school, and then also high school. And I was a part of this award-winning three-peat group. This was 97, 98, and then 99. And with this three-peat, I won the championship. So I really kind of learned sportsmanship then. I really learned like the importance of learning how to win gracefully. And then I also learned the importance of how to work well within a team. So those are my activities for the most part. And I just learned a lot. Just learning how to navigate, just learning how to work with people, learning how to win, learning how to just basically be competitive, because that's also another skill that you're going to need when you basically go on to the workplace.
Wow. I mean that's very impactful. I'm pretty sure, people coming up who had similar path as you did, keeping that energy and understanding that balance, in life today, we have a lot of people who on one end of the spectrum, they have it going on, they're going in the right direction, but it's something else that's causing them to lag behind. So for you to be able to have parents that kept you balanced and kept you active, I'm pretty sure it had you stray away from things that, would have been conducive to bringing you down. So it's great that, your mind is just so uh, enthusiastic about life and just bettering yourself as a whole.
I love that. And I love that you said that too, because, parents, when they see the talent in you, I mean, it's really important for them to really push that, and then also find resources for you to put you in the best light, and my parents, they really invested a lot of time and focus in me. And I'm just so thankful for those opportunities, because it's helped me along the way. But it's one thing that I also missed too in terms of cheerleading. I remember my freshman year in college. It's so funny that you say energy, because I won the most spirited cheerleader award in high school and then also in college. And it's so funny about when we talk about competition. I was a freshman year in college, and I was actually not expecting this award. Like, I beat out this senior that won the most energetic award every single year. And I won that my freshman year, and nobody saw it coming. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there too.
I mean, a shameless plug. There's nothing wrong with that. I just hope that that individual is doing well in their life at this point, and their energy didn't come down because yours went up. You know what
Right.
I mean? So,
Right. I think so. I follow her on Facebook and she's doing really, really well. She's doing
see, there we
well.
go. You see, people. You know, it's
Yes,
you can still make it. You know, it's okay
exactly.
to take an L here and there. So now, you competitive. You have the energy. Now, once you were getting ready to graduate, did you have any ideas of possibly joining the military, just serving your country, or did you just pretty much plan on going with college? Was that the first like instinct you had, just going to college?
No, my first instinct was going to college. I didn't even really think about, joining the military. It wasn't even a thought that really crossed my mind. No.
Okay. And now, so since you did end up going to college, like, so what college did you go to,
Hmm.
and how did that college experience play a role in your life as well?
Right. So I actually started out at HBCU. So I went to Johnson C. Smith my freshman year in college, and then I transferred to the University of Maryland College Park, and I graduated from there with a Bachelor of Arts in Communications, and then I minored in criminal justice. And I always say that Maryland really, really shaped the trajectory of my life because I say that Maryland made me. Maryland opened up many doors of opportunity for me. And because Maryland was so competitive, because also I went to a predominantly white institution, I made sure that my voice was heard. Like I made sure that I just wasn't a social security number in a room and in a class filled with 700 people. So it's like I would sit in the front of the room. I would make sure that that teacher basically knew my name and did not just call me by, young lady. Like I made sure that I was in office hours so that those teachers basically knew me and I built a rapport and relationships with them. And the opportunities that I got from there, like for example, access to certain resources, access to jobs, access to basically community service opportunities, and then also access to internships. That really played an important role in shaping my career that has been longstanding in communications and also public service.
Oh wow. I mean, what I like from what you're saying is you just didn't want to be somebody that was just overlooked or just seen as, oh well, we have to have this person in here to make it seem like we're not, you know, uh, coming off a certain type of way because, in today's society we see how they have to have certain faces in certain places to
Mm-hmm.
make everything seem normal when, that's not really what it is. But for you to say, you know what, I'm gonna stand out, not because I'm just gonna try to make a fool of myself or just do anything to be pandered to. But I want
Mm-hmm.
to learn, I want to grow, and that just helps you internally. Internally, we have to make sure that that's clean because a lot of people walking around nowadays, they look like gold, but their inside is copper. So
Mm.
for you, I feel like you had that aura in you that shined through. So no matter what bad day you had or no matter who was around you that was going through, there was another energy, another boost that it just inspired you to say, you know what, I'm going to keep pushing. And that's what we got to do. We got to move forward and not backward.
I love that, Elijah. You are so deep. Like we could talk forever. We could
Hey,
literally
I
talk
appreciate that.
forever.
I appreciate that. Just from for myself, I understand that you have to surround yourself with people that are going to be links in your chain of success. Because if you don't do that, then you're wondering how come everybody I'm around always seem like they're backbiting, they're hating, they're trying to do things that I felt like I never seen that type of person in them. But you got to understand too, there are some people who, if they see you as the person that's clean, or for instance, right, if you're wearing a clean white T-shirt and theirs might have a stain on it, they don't feel comfortable being around you. But if they get around somebody that has ketchup and mustard stains on their shirt, they're comfortable because they're one notch up from them. And everybody in this world is one decision away from being that person on the side of the street that you don't want to talk to. So those are just things I always think about to make sure I'm humbling myself. No matter how happy I am about my accomplishments, I understand that I dedicated my life for the betterment and the empowerment of everybody in this world, not just my community, not just my family, but for the world. And so by me living like that, I feel it just pushes me to see beyond the surface level.
Oh, absolutely. And it's also a responsibility. Like if you've been able to be in certain circles, you want to actually be able to teach the next. You want to be able to pass the mantle to somebody that's coming basically after you. Like if you are educated, if you have had access to certain opportunities, why not? You don't hoard the information. Like you pass the information on so that that person can actually not go through the same pitfalls that you have, right? Or so that you can actually give that person the knowledge, the skills, and the tools to be able to succeed. Like we're not holding information, we're passing it on. And I always say that you want the next that's coming after you to be better than you. A lot of people, a lot of people don't understand what that is because a lot of people want to hold on. But that's your legacy building if you're able to inspire the next generation.
Yeah, and that's what we need. We need people who are, they're not going to be too prideful to say, you know what, hey, let me help pull you up because I see where you're at and I was in that position and I want to see you make it. Because what we all have to understand is we're all blessed with different gifts and talents.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter if we even doing something similar, you always are doing something completely different than what the other person is. Even if it's by an inch or two, you got to understand that everybody plays a part in each other's life. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're driving, if you're driving and you're not paying attention to the road, that means you're not looking out for yourself and for the other person. So we
Absolutely.
all have to be able to work together with each other, and I think it's just powerful to have someone like you who understands that and not all about the glitz and the glamour because your labor should pay off. You should be able to receive the fruits of your labor, but at the same time understand too for those that don't have it and for those that used to be maybe where you were in a certain mind state to where you wasn't sure of how things would come out. You found a way to get there, and that's the whole part of fellowship. Even
Yes.
even with if you're going to church, you should be able to fellowship at church, but also when you're not at church, with people that have different mindsets because you may be able to learn one thing from them that
Mm-hmm.
you can apply to another situation to help somebody else out. So never shun somebody of their ideas, but if they are disrespectful, you handle them in such matters to say, hey, we can continue talking, but if your tone or your verbiage isn't gonna change, then we have to just leave it where it is because you
Right.
can't save everybody, but make sure you save yourself and love
Exactly.
yourself first too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now, seeing as that you went to college, did you join any sorority? And if you did, what sorority was that?
So I did it in college. I did not join any sororities in college. I didn't join a sorority until graduate chapter. So I joined graduate chapter. And shout out to Romeo Omega in DC. That's the chapter that I'm actually a member of. And this was what I would say almost 5 years ago that I joined that chapter here in DC.
Okay, so all right,
And
so
the sorority is Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
say it loud and proud, so they know. Hey,
Yes.
they,
Yes,
they know.
yes, yes. Shout out to Romeo Omega.
Okay, there it is. Hey, when y'all listen to this playback, y'all, hey, put this on the loudspeaker, put this on the radio.
Yes.
She shouted out now. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Shout out
You know,
to our VP.
hey, there it is. And that's great that you are very well rounded, from the way you think and the way you operate and stuff like that. You're very strategic. And if people, once they follow you or they check out your platform, they'll see you're about actions. You just don't say a whole bunch of words that sound good because the vaccine that I don't want to take is called hope.
Yep.
I like for people who to show by their actions because you can have faith, but then when you actually test it, is that faith strong enough to get you through that storm?
Mm.
So we have to have those type of people in our lives that say, hey, look, I'm going through this with you. I'm not going to go through this with you. Take a picture, then leave
Mm-hmm.
and come back. And when I need to take another picture, no, no,
Yeah.
no, we don't do that. You know what I mean? You have to be steadfast in your journey and be willing to make sure that what you're saying is matching up with the actions you're putting out here in the world.
You know what I always say? I say that my audio matches my video. Whatever I say that I'm gonna do, I do it. Like it's never gonna be a contradiction. So my motto is my audio is gonna match my video, meaning whatever I say, I'm gonna make sure that I do. And I'm also transparent too. I think that's what also just makes me a trustworthy person of influence in the community is that I'm going to talk about like where I failed. I'm going to talk and what I've learned from that. And I'm very transparent about that. I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's what makes me human. Nobody is perfect. But I do believe that, once you learn from certain roadblocks or certain things that hindered you, either you are going to let that hinder you from moving forward, or you're going to put that hat on and say, you know what, I'm going to rise above this and I'm going to fight it and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to succeed. So it's just really all about, just like you said, Elijah, it's about the mindset and the mental toughness to start a journey and to stay on a journey, regardless of how hard it is. Like, that's really just the mode in which I live by.
Exactly, because I understand that even with this whole, the COVID, a lot of things going on, people still working out there. They want to stay healthy. You can be physically healthy, but mentally, if you're not healthy, it's just still going to weigh you down. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to have that balance. Balance just doesn't come in one aspect. You have to make sure all the way around that you're okay. How can I get better with this? How can I, figure out how to, you know, stay away from these lustful desires that cause me to get away from my journey on my
Absolutely.
purpose. So I definitely understand that. And for myself, through social media, I let myself become more vulnerable. I put certain things out to where I understand people will, judge and they will have their own questions or concerns. But the good thing about that is you need to know that, hey, everything that you do is not gonna make everybody happy, or it's not gonna bring everybody together, or they're not gonna just, care about what you're doing. But at the end of the day, if you care about what you're doing and you believe in it and it's not hurting somebody else, I feel like, hey, continue doing it.
And I also feel like, look, at the end of the day, if you could just reach one person, like, even if you don't necessarily get the likes or the comments or the DMs, there is someone that's watching. There is someone that is watching, that's listening, and they're studying you. So even if you feel like your posts are like falling on deaf ears, and no, trust me, if you could just reach that one person and that one person send you a message to say what you said, it resonated with me, it really touched me because I'm going through that, and you helped me through this, trust me. That is just so liberating to know that you changed your life and you have impacted someone.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. Just real quick before we get back into, with the questions, I know for myself, I was down in South Carolina for a friend's wedding. Shout out to Anthony Green, Jr., and also shout out to Brianna, his wife. So I want to say that for me, I had somebody walk up to me, like I was walking, on the pier. I had somebody walk up to me, and I had one of my shirts on that I designed. And, on the back of it, I had a certain quote. And the lady, she said, hey, sir. So I turned around and she said, I just want to let you know that your shirt, it really gave me inspiration today because
Mm-hmm.
I really need to see those words. And for me, I'm thinking, I wore my shirt because, it's business, it's promo, but I believe in the things that I put out. And if I don't believe what I'm putting out, what's the point of me wearing it and,
Right.
and, and giving it out to the world? So for her saying that, it let me know that and she was also a white woman,
Mm-hmm.
which for the purpose of me saying that is just anybody out there who feels like you're creating something and you have to stay in your lane. There is no lane. The thing about life is there's different intersections that we intertwine with, and you just don't know how you can help save somebody's life that doesn't look like you. And that's why the bigger picture is we need to understand that we're going to have differences. There's going to be evil. There's going to be spirits that haunt people where they only just want to see destruction. But there is people who they look past that and say, you know what, I want to have better for myself. I want to have better for my kids. And if it comes from this person that doesn't look like me, or we don't have the same political background, you know what, it is what it is. Because as long as we can meet in the middle and help each other, that's what it's about, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Elijah.
Yeah. And so, to just continue on and everything. And once again, I like to say, I appreciate this. You've given people a whole lot of information. I hope that if they don't get it all the first time, they rewind until they get it,
Yes,
you
play.
know?
Look, do the replay. It's all about the
Yeah,
replay.
exactly. Now, so I understand, you dance a lot. And now I got a big question for you. So are you the best dancer in your family, or did you learn from somebody else in your family?
Okay, so not to brag or anything, but I am the best dancer in my family. But like, I didn't really learn from anybody in my family. I was trained, just like I said, at 5, but my grandmother had all of the energy in the world. Like, she was super duper energetic. And she was just like a natural dancer. So like I kind of picked up that animation from her and like the energy from her. And my grandmother did not want to be around any people her age. Like she really wanted to be around nothing but young people. And she kept that youthful, vibrant energy. And so I just kind of feel like I am my grandmother's child. And I just kind of watched her, and my grandmother was literally, people call it twerking now, but my grandmama was twerking back in the day and shimmying back in the day and dropping it like it was hot back in the day. So it's like my grandmother was the ultimate dancer in a family, just not trained.
Okay, I definitely understand that, and I just want to also add in too, if women of today or just anyone who likes to dance in general, go back and look at old time dancing. You will see some dances that have been morphed into today. Also understand too that those dances that back then would be considered, you
Vulgar.
know, vulgar.
Mm-hmm.
If you really kind of pay attention to it, some of that, I feel like it had some type of value to it, because if we incorporate it back to, from Africa, there are
Yeah.
certain tribal dances that people do, male and female. And so just understand that certain things you may see, it may throw you off and say, oh, I don't like that, or I would never do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's not for you. But just understand, when you put somebody else down, that dance move they do, that might save them from, thinking about doing something else that could be harmful to themselves. And that's something that for myself, I had to understand, like, you know what? If they're doing this, that's what makes them happy. Now, it can have a residual effect on a younger mind who
Mm-hmm.
feels like, I have to do this to get attention, or I have to do this to be loved. So at the end of the day, just make sure you're able to tailor that message if you can, to let them know, hey, I'm just doing this to have fun, but at the same time, I'm all about strengthening my mind and being the best version of myself as well. But it's all to each his own. I just wanted to throw a little tidbit in there for you.
And can I also just chime on that too? Like, it's cultural. Like, when you see those moves, those African styles of movement, it is all cultural. We have just been basically reshifting the dances back from the 80s and the 90s and the 70s. That's really, really it. And see, people sometimes will look at maybe a twerk or just like a dropping it low. But let me just tell you something. There's education behind it too. You are using all of your core muscles. That is not easy to do. You're using the strength of the core muscles to actually be able to use your quads, to be able to drop low. So it's still education, balance, and strength, and agility, and endurance, and stamina all behind that. So like, it's like, before you're quick to say, oh, well, and condemn, just know the education behind it too. You could burn literally through a twerk fitness class. You could literally burn 1,000 calories.
Yeah. and
I'm
and
just
people
saying.
Yeah, and people need to understand that, dropping that low means you can also drop that weight and you
Yeah.
can get to where you want to be at.
Yes,
Summertime is
exactly.
coming. It's on the
Summertime is
horizon,
coming.
y'all.
And it's just a fun way to get fit. It's just fun.
Yeah. And make sure everybody out there that's listening, make sure your dancer fit. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So that means you need to connect with Dionne.
Y-
Make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all do
yes.
that.
Yes.
So now, speaking of, music and dance and how it affects us all, I want you to name 5 of your influence, whether it's dance or singers. You can mix it up. And I want you to give me the reason behind each one.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I will start first with Michael Jackson. So growing up, Michael Jackson was my idol. Like, I really studied Michael Jackson, and I could not, for the life of me, I couldn't understand how this guy was never classically trained in dance, but he could look at choreography, or choreography could come in and teach, and he'll pick it up just like that. So like, I was just a little taken aback for somebody like me that was a trained dancer, and for somebody like him that could pick up something and who had never been trained before. He was just a natural. So my brother and myself and my cousin, we would just like watch MTV and VH1 like all Saturday. And I would just study Michael Jackson dances, like literally, and I would just move all of the furniture in the living room. And I would just have like my own dance concerts in the house. Like, literally, I would literally have my own dance concerts. So my second favorite dancer is MC Hammer. Like growing up, I literally wanted to be an MC Hammer dancer. Like, I don't know if you remember Too Legit to Quit when it came out. Like, too legit to quit. Hey, hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Uh-huh.
when that came out, I was done. Like, I really was like, you know what? That's what I want to be. I want to be an MC Hammer dancer. So I was literally like thinking about the outfits and putting the outfits on and sending. I was young. I was very, very, very young then. But it's like I knew what I wanted to be. And then also Mariah Carey, like, oh my goodness, I'm getting butterflies thinking about Mariah Carey. Like, I love her so much. I remember being in the house when Break Down came out with Bone Thugs and Harmony and like singing that song all throughout the house. Also, look, Beyonce. Everybody knows that I'm such a fan of Beyonce. Beyonce is like my spirit sister. I really love her with life. I have met her. Many times I've shared the stage with her. A lot of people know this. I have pictures with her. Um, I've really, really studied her. You know, I will be extremely transparent on IG. I really don't study a lot of dancers because I don't want that to infiltrate my choreography and also my creativity and my innovation in the arts. But one person that I do study intently is Beyonce. So I'll go on TikTok because of course I want to learn all the trendy dances and I don't never want to be dated. I would just want to learn from a lot of other people on TikTok. But Beyonce is my all-time favorite. And then Lizzo, I love Lizzo because I feel like she's really well-rounded also in her art too. And she is also very unapologetic. Like she can care less what you have to say. She's going to do her. And I just love that about her. It's so empowering to me. And I also just feel like I pray for somebody on the scene that will come on not scripted. Like they're not fitting this notion of what the industry wants you to look like. She's breaking barriers with that, and I applaud her because she's not going with the status quo.
Yeah. I mean that list right there, I think is pretty much unbeatable. I mean, so
Yeah.
I think that, it's great that you have different individuals who represent just certain energies you have, because I feel like for yourself, you're one of those people that inspires a lot. You have your own style, and one thing I noticed with you is you don't let, you know if you feel like you missed a step or anything like that, you just keep going. And
Mm-hmm.
and in the bigger scheme of things, life, you keep going even if you feel like you missed a step, you tripped up, because I know in life we can take so many L's. It's like we're playing Tetris, but you gotta keep moving. You can't let people stop you from your purpose. And I feel like you have that energy to where it's like, even when people just want to just be negative, they have no choice but like, you know what, I ain't gonna lie, man, she got it. I just want to hate.
I
You know what I
see.
mean? They just, I mean, that's kind of what it comes
Right,
down
right,
to.
right, right.
What it
Exactly.
comes
I
down to.
love that. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. So now, I want you, and I know you pretty much kind of touched on that with the last question, but can you explain just the feeling that you get when you dance, and how do you feel the words that you also speak on, or the things you speak on? How do you feel that affects people?
Yeah, so I get really emotional about this because dance for me is life. I really take it seriously. And for me, it's ministry. Like I know what my why is when I'm thinking about the art form and dance. Like I know that it's purpose driven. And I really know that with dance that I was born to do this and this is my calling. So I really put my all into it. Yes, it's fun for me, but it's like I'm constantly studying, I'm constantly getting better. I put the time and the work in. And then also because I do have a community, like I really want the feedback from my community. It's really important to me. I want to know what it is that they want, what it is that they see. How can we grow? How can we evolve? And I also just want to give the people what they want. You know what I mean,
Oh
Elijah?
yeah, I know. I
So it's
understand.
like, I last week I made a post and I said that the classes that I do, their classes, their sessions. But then I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop calling these classes sessions or sessions classes because at the end of the day, I'm putting on a show. This is a show. Like I'm bringing my innovative performance background And I'm bringing the stage production into my sessions. So I'm no longer calling them sessions anymore, classes. It's a show because I literally go into performance mode. And I don't know if you've been seeing like my new slogans on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm saying, if the hair ain't swinging, I don't want it. Meaning I'm bringing the extra. And so like what people say about me when they say, Dionne, you extra, you know what I do? I done made a meme out of it. like
Yeah.
I literally have made a meme out of it. They say I'm extra. And so I'm like, yes, I fully embrace it. So, I love teaching. Dance for me is really life. It's therapeutic. It's not a job for me. I don't feel forced when I have to go and teach or do a presentation. Like every time I'm asked to do a group performance, I don't take it for granted and I give my all. And I also want the energy in the room to be right, Elijah, because I'm bringing the positive energy and because dance is all about energy. And I basically set the tone early when I start my class. I've set the tone as far as positive energy early. So when I ask ladies, what I ask ladies when they come to a class, I ask them 4 things. I ask them to have fun. I ask them to leave their fears at the door. I ask them to embrace their sexy. And then I also ask them to meet someone new to connect because you never know who's in the room that you can align with because you share the same interests. And so that's just the environment that I'm creating for my classes and my movement. Dancerfit is a movement. Like it is a community and we uplift, we encourage. And then as women, we cheer each other on. So if the energy is not right, I don't want it in the class because it basically doesn't align with what I'm doing. I'm serious about my art, like I'm serious about my ministry.
And you have to be, because your ministry is and will continue to help save lives and build people up. And you mentioned something about people saying you extra, and I'm gonna just give people this quick little tidbit. Whenever somebody gives you something negative, there's ways you can turn it into something positive. I've got critiques on certain things, and I end up making songs about it. Or I end up creating posts about it. And one
Yes.
and one of the posts I put out was, somebody mentioned something, and I just want to say this real quick. If you're watching a person's story
Mm-hmm.
all the time, as soon as they post something, but you're very critical of them, that's confusing. I just want to put that out there. I just
I
want to put that out
love
there.
it. Let's speak on it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I want to say this. If you're sitting on the sidelines, you can't make a difference in the game if you're not playing. So I just want to say that as well too. So this right here is not throwing shade. I just want people to know that if you support a person and you say you're their friend or you're behind them, hey, if they're extra, let them be extra, because they may be extra enough to get to a point where they can employ you, or they can help you, you know what I'm saying, get into a certain position because they know that person you've been trying to connect with for so long. So just think on that,
I
people.
love
We got to
that.
stop. I
You are
appreciate it.
dropping
We got.
gems, Elijah.
I appreciate. Hey, the show is about her, but I just throwing
You
this in
are
here. You know what
dropping
I mean?
gems. Like
Alley,
I'm writing it down.
yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, for myself, I just, when I sit and I survey, okay, what am I doing? Is it making a difference? Because sometimes I question what I'm doing. Is it making a difference? Is it helping other people? And sometimes you just, as you mentioned, you just need that one person to say, you know what, hey, keep going, keep pushing it. You doing it. I may not say this or that, but keep going, keep pushing. And I appreciate that. And I do see, you know, when you and that's the thing, what I do like about social media, you can see on certain aspects who's watching what you're doing. And I've seen multiple times certain maybe family, friends, or certain people like that who they may watch what you do, and it's not their job to support everything you do. But my only thing is that you know we should all want to see each other do well. And I know I've tried to do better on liking people's pictures and commenting and stuff like that, because it does help when they see, okay, cool, it's not all about you wanting something from me and then I get nothing in return as far as support and stuff like that. I get that, but let's just make sure that we're not putting everything into, this person all the way on this left side here, but you got a sister or brother or cousin, something like that, that's doing something, and you can't even, what I'm saying, retweet something they put out.
Mm-hmm.
So I just find that very confusing. It's like, are you trying to go as far as a way to not shed light on them because they make you
Yeah.
insecure, or they might have said something to you about, hey, you need to get yourself right and get your life in order, and I'm gonna be here for you and stuff like that. And and real quick before we get into this next question, and I know you probably want to speak on what I'm talking about. I just want to say this, right? Even for myself, I've been told things where I had to look in the mirror and say, you know what? The person I thought I was seeing in the mirror, that person needs some adjustments. You know what I'm saying? I have to work internally on myself. I have to be able to have the mindset. If somebody's giving me some critical information, take it, dissect it, and then figure out how can I apply it to my everyday life.
And I also feel like you are as successful and powerful as a community beside you. And I look at, the Dancerfit community as like a tribe, and like we're really powerful in numbers. But I only align myself with people that are going to push me to be better. I only align myself with people that see where I'm going, that see the vision and see the mission, and that they can help me fulfill that because they see the impact. Like I don't have to sell it. So like, for example, Natika, who you see is my partner that's always to the right or to the left with me. Like she's going to push me to go harder. I'm going to push her to go harder, right? We are like accountability partners and sisters because we want the best for each other. So it's like when you encamp yourself around your sisters that want to see you do well, it's genuine. I mean, it's a genuine, and we're all pushing for each other. Like, so when I'm glowing and I'm winning, my sisters beside me, they glowing and they're winning too. And so we're all really basically in this together. If I'm getting something, I'm gonna pull my sisters with me. If I'm learning something, I'm gonna educate them on it too. So it's basically all about your tribe that's gonna help you grow and evolve. And if that tribe is not trying to help you elevate to the next level, then you gotta separate and you gotta find yourself a new tribe.
Exactly. You're saying some true words. That's what it is. And I recently really told myself that sometimes it's not about, sometimes you have to just look at the audience, you're trying to really, get out, or the audience that you're trying to reach. Because if you're trying to target the same audience, it may mean that, hey, let me go outside my
Mm-hmm.
comfort zone. And I think that's one of the biggest fears. People get in the comfort zone. Well, I'm gonna stay at this job. I could apply for this next position, but I'm good where I'm at. That's more responsibility. I don't want to have to stay late. But staying late and being able to have more for your family and be able to one day maybe own your own business, it's all steps for that. Because if you do want to have your own business and you do want to be someone like Dionne, who is able to empower other people, but she also is financially, making sure she's staying on top
Mm-hmm.
of things, you have to make sure everything is in order. And that's having responsibility and being accountable of your
Yeah.
actions.
I
You know what I
also
mean?
feel like, I don't want to do what I did last year. I want to continue to do something different. Like I don't ever want to look back last year and I'm doing the same thing. So it's like I'm always telling my team that, guys, we got to raise the bar. We have to elevate, and we have to do something that we've never done before to get outside of our comfort zone. Getting outside of your comfort zone is not easy. That's learning, that's studying, that's basically learning a different innovative way of doing things. I mean, it just basically comes with, again, wanting to reinvent yourself. And I'm just so big on consistently reinventing so that I'm always setting myself apart from the next.
Yep. And you definitely do that very well. So I definitely commend you
Thank
on that.
you.
No problem at all. So now I have another question for you. So as far as the way you see the world, how is your business or just your platform in general? Because I know you have multiple platforms.
Hmm.
How does it help the world? Like, what benefits can the world gain from your
Yeah.
platform?
So, when I went into business, I knew that there was a need, especially for our African American women. A lot of people say that African American women don't want to work out. They don't work out. They don't want to get their hair messed up. They just don't want to do it. And so I wanted to come up with a way to get my community involved, um, and to also come up with an innovative way that they can have fun. And that's how Dancer Fit came about. But then I also knew my why too. I knew that my business platform was purpose driven, and I knew that it was impactful. And I also knew that there was a void that wasn't being met. So when you go into business, you're always basically thinking about a community that hasn't been touched, or a service that hasn't been met in that specific community. So I did that. Like, I knew that bringing together women of color to dance, that was huge and monumental for me. I know that some, not knocking Zumba, but Zumba is not for everybody, right? So I said, how can I bring women together? They come into a class, and the time goes by so fast that they don't even realize that they are burning 1,000 calories, and they're just listening to hot music, and it just feels like a dance party. And not only does it
Yeah.
feel like a dance party, but it's like we're having fun. We're cheering each other on. It's a community. You feel good, because when you feel good, you act good and you are good. Like, your whole demeanor just changes. But then I'm also building confidence too. So that woman that comes in that's been shot down, like, I mean, I have women that come in all the time. You just don't know what these women are going through. Like, personality may be shot down. Somebody told them they couldn't do anything. They have just lost a job, got out of a bad relationship. This is ministry. So, because I'm touching all of these women, and to be able to come in and say that, you feel better coming in than how you felt when you came in. To me, that's impact. Um, these women and girls that basically come in, they are burning 1,000 calories. Some of them basically want to lose inches. They've lost inches. Some of them want to build confidence. Some of them want to strengthen their core muscles. So it's like, this is multi-tier system, meaning I'm doing education. I'm teaching them and educating them on balance and flexibility and strength and agility and quickness and power and strength and resistance training. This is also education, because a lot of women actually don't even know where to start with even setting a fitness routine. So I really take this seriously, because I'm educating on the basic fundamentals of fitness, and I'm also teaching them on the basic fundamentals of living a healthy lifestyle. And what that really means, it's a process, it's a lifestyle. It's not superficial, because superficial is not going to keep the weight off, right? Superficial is, I just want to lose weight for a wedding, or I just want to lose weight basically for a summer vacation. But when you change your mindset and you say, what, no, I want to live healthy for the rest of my life, then you start to change your mindset and you start to live better. And so that's basically what this ministry is. That's what this community is. And I look at it as a movement, because I am changing lives. I am impacting lives, and I'm feeling the need in the community that I feel like just has not been met.
Well, I think, with that being said, one thing I can add is Dancerfit by Dionne. Dancerfit by Dionne. And I feel like, to anybody out there, understand it's not always about the rhythm of the feet, it's the rhythm of your heart. You know what I mean? If you're in tune with wanting to have a better lifestyle, you want to be happy, you get around people that wants to be happy like you. Stop being around those people that I'm gonna say this real quick. The reason why a bullies, you know what I'm saying, the person, whoever they claim to have issues with, or get pissed off about, the reason they do that is because they understand there is a certain light, there is a certain greatness in you. And if you tap into that, you'll make them feel insecure. So to keep you under their feet, they have to make sure that you never realize that. Now think about that in the big picture of our society. You know what I mean? And that's something I realized. And for you to have the morals you have, to have people come around that they compliment your energy, and y'all raise the bar, and y'all have no limitations, you have no ceilings, you just all work together to be happy and to promote positivity. That's what this world needs. I understand that the word empowerment, positivity, it seems like it's always used in different parameters, but it's all about the actions. When you're seeing women who come in there day one, head down, afraid of the world, just stepping out, curious about what you do, and by day 10, month 2, they're just as energetic as you are. That is amazing, and I feel like that's going to continue on, and that's what we need in this life. We don't need people who are going to just preach to us something that sounds good, and then they don't show us that walk that we're all trying to walk as well. So I think you're doing that phenomenally, and I just hope that so many, women out there, take heed to that, and also men, or however you identify yourself with, just listen to her words and apply that to however your life is right now. No, you can have better. Don't worry about being bitter. You can have better in this world for sure.
Amen. Amen. And I'm glad you said that, women coming in with the head down low. I will never forget this, and I'm gonna end at this. This woman coming to one of my classes, she was actually a cop. And this was her first time coming to the class. She had such a horrible day prior to getting to class. Her car shut down. She's running around like a chicken with a head cut off. She's having to put her car in the shop. Everything that went wrong that day went wrong for her. She came to me and she said, "You know what, Dionne? It took everything for me to get to you." She said, "But I was not going to stop at nothing to get to you. And I'm so glad that I did this because I needed this." And it's like, those are the things that like bring tears to my eyes because, I know that God is using me as a vessel and I'm not taking this for granted.
Hey, well, that's amazing, and that's sometimes all we need, just that one person. You don't, wait for the whole world to exalt you, because you don't need that. And honestly, I feel like it's great to have that camaraderie with other people who are willing to be vulnerable with you as you're vulnerable with them. You know what I mean? Because you can't live your life wanting to be liked by people, and they don't even, what I'm saying, love their self. It just doesn't really equate right. You know what I mean? They're just doing something because they want to be you, but you want them to be the best version of themselves. You know what I mean? Nobody can be a better version of
Mm-hmm.
you, except for you. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's great with what you're doing, your ministry, and how you're focused and you're passionate about it, because you're living by your actions. And I just want to say, is there anything else you want to add or bring awareness to before we
No,
close
I
out?
just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for a very like authentic conversation. And it's just, I don't feel pressure. Like I feel like I'm just basically in my living room, just basically having a conversation. So I just thank you for thinking of me and considering me for coming on and just me being able to share my story. And I just thank you for what you're doing, just spreading that positive light, because I watch you on TikTok and Instagram too, and you say some really really deep stuff. So as folks are following Dancerfit, look, follow Elijah Ivory too, like show him some love, give him some words of encouragement too, because the ones that are always encouraging, we also still need fuel in our tank too. We need that energy. We need that energy to be transferred and flowing back in us too, because we're just consistently pouring out. So pour into this brother if you're listening to me. Pour into him.
I definitely appreciate that. And one of the biggest reasons that I, started following you and reached out to you, because I felt like you were, the opposite, female version of me, but just somebody just on a just on another level that I was proud of. I said, look at this sister, look at this woman that is doing this, and she's helping all different races, just all different types of people, all different walks of life. And that's something that inspired me, because as far as with your dance, your passion, your energy, I'm like, man, I resonate with that. I have that. And it's like, it's you're not worried about making a mistake. You're not worried about who may laugh. You're not worried about whatever opinions people may have. You just keep pushing. And that's something that has strengthened me. And I just feel like whatever, energy I've gained from that or knowledge I gained from you, I try to pass it on to the next person, because that's what it's all about, being able to be a link in each other's chain of success. And and for myself, I always understand I have to keep God
Mm-hmm.
first, so that way the devil is
Mm-hmm.
behind me. You know what I mean? So, if nothing else, I just want to say again, y'all make sure y'all follow Dionne on Instagram. Make sure, if you haven't yet, check out Dancerfit. I'm for sure know that you will not be let down. And there's so many other people that she does
Yep.
collaborate with that you'll be able to follow, and you'll be able to see, oh, they bring the energy
Yep.
just like
So
she
shout
is.
out
So
to those
um,
people. So on my Instagram, follow me, Dancerfit by Dionne. Dancerfit by Dionne, all one word. I'm on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok, because it's lit on TikTok. Dancerfit by Dionne. Also, shout out to my dance partner, Natika Townsend, Little Lady in Black. She's always the one that's basically literally by my side. She is the force behind this as well. She keeps my energy going. So, and brand ambassadors Tiana and Bendu, and we have I don't want to keep long, but all my brand ambassadors, shout out to them too. Thank you all.
Hey, well, I like I said once again, I appreciate this. And to anybody else out there, if you have any questions or concerns or just anything you want to leave for myself or you want to leave for Dionne, definitely do that. And if you leave anything for me to send to her, I'll definitely make sure she get that. And just to close it out, be blessed, everybody. Take care. And this has been another edition of the Mind of Aubrey
Take
podcast.
care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.